Greetings and welcome to FactionMasters Season 6, Game 15. We have for you here the Storm Goblins, played by DeadSans, going up against the Obsidian Dwarves, played by me. Not like me, Clarissimus, but the player named me. And I'm joined on commentary for this one by Shoots. Good to have you with us.
Hey, glad to be here.
And, maybe it's just me. I always find the Storm Goblins interesting one way or another. But which side do you think has the edge here in this matchup?
Yeah, to me it feels fairly even from the limited number of times I've played it. I feel like both summoners just want to get damage on the other summoner and force them from the action as soon as possible. How do you feel about the match?
I feel like Storm Goblins have the edge here. Maybe not a big advantage, but I think about just Balzar's lack of mobility. You know, he can put out so much offense with his attacks, with the epic event, of course, the volcanic blast, but he doesn't really have any way to move around and get in places. And if he wants to set up for a really good blast, he either has to get surrounded or has to put himself in a very vulnerable position. Whereas the Storm Goblins have so much mobility. But maybe meee has the formula here to either drive Thrak into a corner, pin him down somehow, or just do some unexpectedly high amount of burst damage. There's always that.
Yes, I do agree that the Storm Goblins have a few things going for them in this match. The Obsidian Dwarves typically do have a fairly good formation for circuiting for a bunch of damage. On the other hand, the Obsidian Dwarves do have several ways of just finding ways to get damage on Thrak. And if they can get, like 5 melee dice on Thrak pretty early in the game and really kind of force him to run away early on, and they can avoid those circuit turns. This is actually a rematch of the factions from the last tournament. One of the reasons I offered to help commentate is Jexa and I played against each other with this match last tournament. And like really early in the game, Jexa got a ton of damage on Thrak. I was playing the Storm Goblins. And it felt kind of hopeless at that point, but able to get out a couple champions and just barely eke out the win. So I think that's one thing I'd be looking for as the Obsidian Dwarves is getting Thrak out of the fight as soon as possible.
Sounds like good advice for any of these kind of offensive summoners. So yeah, let's get it started. Storm Goblins going first. With the Gust Strider setting up the circuit here. Looks like Thrak's gonna be behind. Seems fairly safe here. Especially with that gate.
Especially with that gate.
Yeah.
Without the gate, he's actually exposed to some potential plays. Yeah, starting with 2 gates to the Storm Goblins is really good. Those gates provide the extra protection Thrak needs.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the chains getting in here on one of these diagonals. We can see that meee does not have that event, but DeadSans did not know at the time. So... And Obsidian Dwarves summon nothing, but they have a gate of their own, a bit more defensive, and they're able to put the axe on the Berserker, see if he can get some collateral damage. Willpower to really make sure.
Yeah, fortunate that both of his commons survived the first turn. They didn't have to summon to replace it.
Yeah, he had the magic to bring out some Oathsworn, but there really wasn't anywhere they could attack other than just a gate. So I think this is the better play, and I like just getting some of those events out of his hand early. You don't want to hold on to them too long, waiting for the perfect combo to use them. But now we are open to a Kite Rider who can fly in from behind.
Anthrax going to retreat here. It would be nice to see Thrax's hand, like if he had a Witch. I'm assuming he didn't, but he could potentially circuit the guard down and then shoot Balzar, but I guess he also probably wants to keep his distance from Balzar.
Yeah. And me keeping his forces spread out here. Ooh, 2 boosts, only 1 hit, but losing 1 there to take out the Kite Rider, and I imagine he's not going to pull a guard in here just to keep everyone spaced out a little. Oh.
Also
Well,
blocking the forward summoning.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. Feel like this is.
If he advances Thrax, the back guard will die anyways.
Yeah, I don't think that was. I mean, especially considering you're sacrificing 2 boosts to do that, I don't think that's putting him in a better situation. But maybe it's bait. Maybe he just wants to lure Thrax in. Or I should say Thrax.
I was considering that as well, because he does have 2 demons and an axe in hand.
Ah.
And, yep, looks like that's what he's going for.
It was all part of the plan. It was a trap. No volcanic blast, though. I expect Balzar will. Oh no, he's just gonna go. Gonna go for it.
Yeah, really jumping in there. Does have the gate, so he's fairly well. Like he'll take some damage, but he shouldn't take too much on the counterattack.
Especially if he can get this Kite Rider 3 for 3. There it is. Okay.
Oh, that's. I guess Balzar's only a 2 attack, but this 5 here is gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's gonna bring Thrax pretty low, I expect. Yep, down to 5. Pretty early on. Let's see how DeadSans responds. Pretty expected pullback here. No magic left to do any kind of overcharge, but definitely going to make Balzar pay for getting up into the fight personally there. I imagine this Lightning Witch is going to attack. No? Going for the demon instead. Did not expect that.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough decision between. I mean, they're both threatening a lot of damage, but you can kill the demon and get the magic this turn. I think it's a pretty close decision which one you go for there. Balzar is going to retreat a bit himself. Nice boost there.
Didn't quite finish off that gate, but just about. Still leaving Balzar open for another ping here, as well as various commons. Here comes the recharge.
Okay, I was wondering if we would see the recharge, because he's perfectly set up for a recharge with the 3 summoning spots.
Yep.
And with the way OD is spaced out, those ball swappers can really connect a lot of units.
Can connect a lot of units while keeping Thrax relatively safe in the corner there. Not all the way out to the Oath Swarm, but
yeah,
this nice little line here. Oops.
Ooh.
Well, that demon will live. Oh! Only 1 damage to Balzar this turn.
Yeah, those are a couple of rough rolls.
Wow.
Oh,
Was that
wow.
0 for 5?
That is up with
Rolling
the...
swords?
Yeah. I think that's...
I think that's a Yahtzee.
If you look it up on the calculator, I assume it's a 0% chance.
Yeah, it's 1 over 6 to the 5th power. It's pretty low. Whatever number that is, I'm not sure. But I like me taking advantage of this kind of shift to clean up this gate over here. Keeping Balzar protected. Taking out the other gate. I like this turn. I assume we'll see the guard.
Yeah, they're actually
Nope.
in a
Yeah.
rough spot right here with 2 of the 5 health gates gone. One is still in the deck somewhere, but he's also on low health. Does have a couple of striders out here, so he should be able to clean up some of these units. Really, some of them should have died last turn, but we got them now.
Yeah.
And
But
an
I think
interesting formation with the Obsidian Dwarf gates as well.
yeah, I don't know if I like this this gate being placed right here. It's just going to be very easy for me to come back and clog them all up again, or block them, or kill them, or something. Balzar's got...
Yeah, I do like placing my gates there as the Storm Goblins. It's ideal for summoning units and forming chains, but like you said, it probably won't last long.
Me taking things a bit slower here. Ooh, 3 symbols, but no one to get hit by the collateral damage there. Oathsworn getting a lot of boosts this game. Got him up to 7. With the pizza oven. Ready to just kind of have a longer slog with lots of commons, but I believe the Hellforge is a structure, but also a unit. Oh, it's a champion. I think that makes it a unit. So he can. There's the overcharge. So zap right through it.
I guess economically, Storm Goblins do seem to be getting a lead here. A lot of units on the board.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think pretty even as far as cards in the deck.
Yeah, and you know, those Gust Striders, it's a lot of health to get through. Tanky units despite being goblins. May has 1 Volcanic Blast in hand. It's going to be really hard for him to set up into a place where he can use it effectively here. I think he just has to push forward, or he's going to get pinged to death here. So he's got to push forward and make some attacks through, clear out these Gust Striders. More boosts. Take it up to 10. Or I guess 9 after that one.
Guard
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah?
You have to swoop in and take out the other Strider. And should clear this Witch as well.
Very good turn for the OD here.
Yeah. Definitely.
But that's still a Balzar on 6 life. So, you know, he's going to take 1 more damage here. Possibly more, depending on...
And if...
Oh, we got the Kite Rider flying in behind again. It makes it so hard to advance on these walls.
So Thrax getting right in there.
He's gonna have a grounded. I'm almost positive of it. It would be very foolish for him to go all the way up that far without having one. And me finally drawing those chains. Too late for the Hellforge to help. Down to 4 life. This is not looking good for the Obsidian Dwarves. He can do a pretty destructive blast here, actually. He can get Thrak down to 1, but that 10 gate is not going to yield. He's going to have 2 blasts here, actually. Blast once for 4 and once for 1. That's what he needed to have, but the
yeah,
the other one was just not in hand.
He just wins the game right there.
Yeah. I wish I had DeadSans on here. Just ask him, like, did you realize? I suppose there was a chance if he had gotten more hits
really
there. Yeah. I think that was the hope he was going for.
Really should have retreated.
Yeah.
Retreated to a different spot.
He could have retreated to this corner. I think it would have been safer. No, he definitely had a chance there if he had gotten a bit luckier with his dice and gotten enough hits to take the gate down to 4. You know, then bring the guard in and finish it off, but
just let's see, he takes 1 damage from circuit. Oh, he's got the recharge. He'll take damage on 2 flanks.
especially if he has another overcharge here.
I need overcharge to have a chance of bringing down Balzar this turn.
Well, if you cast Chain Lightning here... Okay, there's the overcharge. Let's say those Kite Riders would still block, but he's got to get both these hits, or he's going to be in some big trouble. But I think after all the misses on that one turn, he's earned a couple hits. There it is. Now it is a fait accompli.
I just want to see how exposed he was. I guess he would have just summoned the Old Sworn. And just needed 1 dice.
Or a demon with chains or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the demon. Yeah, the demon with chains for sure.
There were multiple choices on how to handle that. Yeah, this turn right here, if Thrak had been over in this corner, though, what have you got? Something can shoot him here. So I think he decided behind this 10 gate was the safest spot. Maybe this spot here was the safest spot, actually. In this...
yeah, I probably would have hid behind the 5
this
gate.
4th file.
Now, can you check? Did Meee have the other volcanic blast at the bottom of his deck, or did he discard it at some point? Yes, it was.
It appears to have been in his draw pile. He had this one. He had the first one pretty early on, holding it all this time, and then the second one just couldn't draw it. So yeah, there were a number of ways that he could have won there. If he gets 6 hits out of 7 on the 10 gate and then brings the Ember Guard in to finish him off, that was a strong chance to win. But or if he had just had another Volcanic Blast. Yeah. Very, very close game, though. And interesting to see the way the back and forth went with the placing of the gates, the destruction of the gates. I feel like Mee's worst turn might have been this one right here. But looking at the beginning, it doesn't seem that bad. It's just you have to push into the Storm Goblins somehow. You can't just leave these big bunches up here. But both times that he did, he would get a Kite Rider that would pop out and box him in. So it's tough. It's a tough matchup, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely nice use of the Kite Riders, and Thrak was jumping forward to get some circuit damage, then retreating safely. Again, he did a nice job getting that dice on Thrak to at least force him to retreat for a few turns. Although, of course, Threk was still able to jump in on occasion, especially with his event grounded to retreat to safety. Well, to seeming safety.
Yeah, right. Right. Any other closing thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I still think it's a pretty even matchup, and both factions have a good number of tools. And that one could have gone either way. Well played by both players.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Shoots, and we'll sure to see some more of you in this tournament also. Always glad to have you along.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thanks to all of our viewers for watching us. We will see you next time for more Faction Masters.